99% of homemakers make the mistake of soaking dried shiitake mushrooms directly in water. Hello, I'm Tracy. Many people don't realize this and often soak dried shiitake mushrooms in water to soften and clean them. But this is actually a very common mistake. It affects both the flavor and the nutritional value of the mushrooms. Today, I'll show you two very simple ways to soak, clean, and soften dried shiitake mushrooms properly. And that's not all by the end of the video. You'll also learn how to store them so they can be used for several months, or even up to a year. Normally, when you shop, do you buy fresh shiitake mushrooms or dried ones? I usually buy the dried kind because they taste better than fresh mushrooms. During the drying process, shiitake mushrooms naturally produce more of their characteristic compounds, giving cooked dishes a richer aroma and a deeper umami flavor. That's why soups, stews, and stir-fried dishes made with dried shiitake mushrooms are more flavorful. And one more important thing you need to know is how to choose good quality dried shiitake mushrooms the right way. First, check the stems. High-quality shiitake mushrooms usually have short, thick, and firm stems. This is a sign that the mushrooms grew well and absorbed enough nutrients. Avoid mushrooms with long, thin, or crooked stems, as they are often older, tougher, and less flavorful. Next, look closely at the caps. Good shiitake mushroom caps should be thick and full, with the edges slightly curled inward and not fully opened. Mushrooms with caps that are completely spread open are usually overgrown. Finally, always smell the mushrooms. Quality dried shiitake mushrooms have a clear, pleasant fragrance with a light, earthy aroma. If you notice any sour, sharp, or moldy smell, it's best not to use them. Careful selection from the start ensures you end up with delicious mushrooms. Now that you have good mushrooms, let's start with the first step of soaking, cleaning, and softening them by soaking them in water and using flour. First, you need to soak the mushrooms. Soaking mushrooms takes time for them to soften naturally, so preparing the soaking water is very important. In the past, not knowing any better and wanting to save time, I often poured hot water directly over them to soak faster. But that was a mistake, because hot water causes valuable natural amino acids and nutrients to dissolve into the water, making the mushrooms lose their aroma and flavor. Another time, I tried soaking them in cold water. The result was not much better. They took a very long time to soften, and the mushrooms didn't taste very good when eaten. But now it's different. I've discovered that the ideal temperature for soaking mushrooms is warm water at about 30 to 40 degrees Celsius. This gentle temperature helps the mushrooms absorb water effectively, without losing nutrients or their natural umami flavor. Pour in enough water to fully cover the mushrooms. Then add a little white sugar and stir well. The sugar helps activate the mushroom's natural savory compounds and allows the water to penetrate the mushroom fibers more quickly. Soak the mixture for about 5 to 7 minutes. After soaking for the right amount of time, you'll see that the mushrooms have expanded more, become softer, and kept an attractive color. Try pressing on them, and you'll feel their elasticity. They're plump and evenly expanded. Once the mushrooms have fully opened up, you need to clean them before cooking. As you can see, dried shiitake mushrooms have many wrinkles and deep folds, and this is exactly where dust, sand, and small impurities like to hide. Simply rinsing with plain water can't clean these crevices thoroughly. The secret here is to use flour during washing. Add 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour to the bowl and gently rub everything together. Flour has excellent cleaning power. When mixed with water, it acts like a gentle sponge, absorbing dirt and residue from deep inside the mushroom folds. Next, cover the bowl tightly with plastic wrap and shake it well for 3 minutes. When you open the container, you'll see that the water has turned cloudy. That's a good sign. It means the dirt has been removed. Just pour out all the water and gently rinse the mushrooms with clean water 2 or 3 times. The mushrooms will be clean, plump, and ready to use, saving you both time and effort. Besides soaking in water, you can also soften dried shiitake mushrooms by steaming them first. First, place the mushrooms in a steamer, cover with a lid, and steam for about 5 minutes over medium heat. This gentle heat helps loosen and open the mushroom structure, awakening the natural umami compounds inside. After 5 minutes, remove the mushrooms and begin the soaking process. Place the steamed shiitake mushrooms into a large bowl so they have enough space to expand while soaking. Next, add 1 capful of white vinegar, 1 teaspoon of sugar, and 1 teaspoon of salt. The white vinegar helps soften the deep folds of the mushrooms, making it easier to release trapped odors and impurities. The sugar gently works on the mushroom fibers, helping them soften more quickly while enhancing the natural umami flavor. The salt helps balance everything and enhances the mushroom's flavor without making it salty. Now, pour in warm water at about 30 to 40 degrees Celsius, just enough to completely cover the mushrooms, and soak for 5 to 8 minutes. This is the ideal temperature range for soaking mushrooms. After soaking for enough time, you will see that the mushroom caps, which were previously dry and hard, gradually open up and become round, thick, and plump, without becoming mushy or overly soft. When you gently press the mushrooms with your finger, they will spring back slightly, showing good elasticity. At this point, the mushrooms look fresh and full again, almost as if they were just harvested. Now you can apply the flour method mentioned earlier to clean them one more time. Sprinkle 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour directly onto the soaked mushrooms. Use your hands to gently rub the mushrooms for 1 to 2 minutes, focusing on the folds and wrinkles. The flour works like a small sponge, absorbing dirt and pulling out impurities hidden deep within the creases. When you see the water start to turn cloudy, pour it all out and gently rinse the mushrooms with clean water 2 or 3 times until the water runs clear. This step ensures the mushrooms are truly clean and ready to use with peace of mind. So now you've learned both soaking methods and the correct way to clean dried shiitake mushrooms. The final step is learning how to store them properly if you're not using them right away. After the mushrooms have been soaked and thoroughly cleaned, gently squeeze out the excess water. Be careful not to squeeze too hard, because you want the mushrooms to retain their plump texture and natural juices. Next, divide the mushrooms into small portions based on how much you usually cook at one time. Place each portion into a clean, airtight freezer bag. Press out as much air as possible and seal the bag tightly. Then, place the bags in the freezer. When stored this way, soaked shiitake mushrooms can maintain good quality for several months. When it's time to cook, you can take them straight from the freezer and use them. That's it for today. With these simple steps, you now know how to soak, clean, and store dried shiitake mushrooms the right way, saving time while keeping their flavor, texture, and nutrition at their best. I hope these tips make your cooking easier and your dishes more delicious. If you found this video helpful, please save it, share it with friends or family, and leave a comment to let me know how it worked for you. Don't forget to follow the channel for more practical kitchen tips.